Hello and welcome to Your Stocks. I'm Nigel D'Souza and with me today is Reema Tendulkar. Well, the markets have come off the high point of the day, but the stock that you need to focus on is Zee Entertainment. The stock is down close to around 12% now as we speak. It's moved to the low point of the day. Various unconfirmed rumors and reports doing the rounds, and that explains why the stock is low. Also keep an eye out on the high pledge in the books. Remember, the promoter holds nearly around 42% odd, and out of that, nearly around 55-56% is pledged. So that stock should definitely be on your radar. In fact, Reema alerted us at 12 noon itself that there were, there was this report by the wires out there. And in fact, brokerages were getting a little cautious, particularly a couple of sales notes that came in. Reema, you want to run us through the news again? Yes,
just in case you missed why Zee Entertainment could be down 11.5% today, because there was an article in The Wire yesterday, in fact, two articles, which said that Nityank Infra is an entity which is being currently investigated by the SFIO for laundering money during demonetisation. Now the allegation is that this Nityank Infra is indirectly connected to Zee Entertainment. And here's how the connection is drawn. That one of Nityank's director is currently a director of an entity called Dreamline, which has promoted Lemonade Capital, and this Lemonade Capital has given loans to Essel Group entity. So that is the link which is currently being drawn from Nityank Infra, which is being probed by SFIO to the Essel Group companies like Zee Entertainment. Now, these are allegations. This had apparently surfaced even some time back, which is what when we had, got chatting with the analyst from Elara, Karan Taurani, he'd also indicated that this, these allegations, this connection between Nityank and Zee Entertainment had surfaced even some time back. And that time when they reached out to the company, they had flatly denied any sort of association with Nityank. But clearly, it's a big overhang on the stock right now, especially because there is a promoter stake sale which is in the offing. And, just yesterday, Nisha was talking about how, so many, foreign players, Sony, etc., were also interested. So coming at a time when there is, a promoter stake sale in the offing, it could put a spanner in the work or at least delay their plans till actual clarity emerges on it. So Zee Entertainment is clearly going to be the stock on our radar. Again, these are reports which suggest the connection between Nityank Infra and Zee Entertainment. Let's, in fact, get some reactions coming in on this. Mayuresh Joshi is here with us, and we've also got Prakash Gava, so we'll go to him for a technical check. But Mayuresh, let me start with you. Would you be worried, for Zee Entertainment if you were a shareholder in the stock? What would you recommend?
So afternoon, Reema. I think one really needs to understand the authenticity of what is probably happening at this point of time. And B, I think it's premature to speculate on what we are probably witnessing in terms of the price movement. C, I think the fundamentals have been pretty solid and robust. So I think the numbers that they produced fundamentally, both in terms of ad revenue growth and the margins and the subscription growth and then the outlook ahead, I think that itself lends the kind of premise that one has from a fundamental perspective. So I think it's premature in my opinion, at this point of time. Let's wait and watch for something really authenticate to probably emerge on why this correction has probably happened.
So right now, till greater clarity emerges, if you are a shareholder in Zee Entertainment, you should stay invested. That's the advice?
So we are still holding on, yes.
You will hold on.
Do you all have official coverage on it as well, Mayuresh?
No official coverage, but we do hold this in our funds.
Okay, all right. Prakash, technically, are there any levels that Zee can find some support? It's down 12% as we speak, but any sort of levels?
No, I don't think I see any support because the moment it broke 430 or 425 zones, looks like it's actually broken. This kind of move doesn't happen often. If it has happened like this, perhaps there's more downside in the days to come. I see even 300 zones in the next couple of days. So I feel it's weak. Any bounces that we may back get on Zee Entertainment are shorting opportunities. Very stiff resistance around 400, 420 zones. So I would sell on any rise.
Actually, there is a bit of risk-off which is taking place in our own markets as well. So it's not just Zee Entertainment. If you look at the Nifty per se, that's seen a slide. So it's lost about 75 points from the top of the day. Once again, telling you that these higher levels of 10,950 are acting as a bit of a resistance and congestion zone for our market. So we've slipped. And as we speak, the Nifty is at that 10,850 mark. The mid-caps are deep in the red with a cut of close to about 0.7%. And look at names like an Ultratech Cement or an Asian Paints or an ICICI Bank. You can see some pretty deep gashes. So it's not just Zee, even the market mood has gotten a bit sour right now.
Absolutely. All right. Then I think we'll try to pull in a couple of queries and then we'll get back to this top story that's on Zee. Meenakshi calls us from New Delhi. She has investments, I believe, in Cipla. Hi, Meenakshi.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Meenakshi.
I'm holding Cipla for the past 1.5 years.
Okay.
At 700 per share.
All right.
But unfortunately, it isn't performing at all. So what should I do with it?
Do you have a longer time horizon? Can you hold it for the next year or 2 years if the need arises?
Yeah, surely. I can.
All right, Mayuresh, coming across to you. Unfortunately, she has lost a fair bit, close to around 30% of her investment. She's lost out on. She bought 100 shares. What would your advice be on Cipla?
So, Nigel, if you can elongate her time horizon to 2 years, I think she can still hold on to the stock. I think the large overhang for Cipla were multiple issues that they were facing. I think the tender business was having price erosion issues. What was happening in terms of approvals coming through, and the injectable and the inhaler launches are expected to be key triggers that have got delayed for a length of time. And again, the kind of positioning that they have got. So the US business is expected to grow at a steady pace over the next couple of years. They're probably looking at, even on the domestic front, with a lot of key launches in the chronic space and the brand business, both for India and South Africa, I think should hold up the next couple of years' earnings for them. So clearly, I think there are a few triggers in place. They're also doing some cost rationalization exercise within the company itself, which would then entail that the EBITDA margins that they are hoping into 20% could probably get maintained. So yes, I think it's gone through a painful period. This painful period might still continue for a quarter or two. But I think once it goes beyond these couple of quarters and as new launches start to come through, I think the earnings recovery should also be very, very evident. So longer term horizon, I think hold on to this.
And your fair value, Mayuresh, on Cipla?
No, so I think you got a high target price from the current level and a clear disclaimer to hold a stock in the funds.
Okay. Tash, would you recommend that she stay invested and bear this kind of loss? Or would you recommend buying at these low levels and averaging it out?
A, hold, and B, average it out. Because basic structure of Cipla is positive. See, it's trading close to support, but it couldn't see a slide. Maybe 450 to these 500 zones is a strong support zone. I don't think much downside here, but if someone is to add here or buy fresh, I think do it here and hold it for longer term.
Okay, right. I just want to spot a couple of stocks. You know, the Dish TV as well, that's a family-related company to Zee Entertainment, and that explains why Dish TV as well is down close to around 10%. For Dish TV, remember, they have that big debt problem as well. So keep an eye out on that stock. Now it's broken the 30-odd mark. And in terms of Ultratech Cement, yes, that stock is down close to around 7%. Remember, for Grasim, the big overhang is that they'll have to put, let's pull up Ultratech, that's down 7.5% approximately. For Grasim, the big overhang is that they're going to be bailing out Idea. They'll have to participate in that rights issue, and the street didn't like that one bit. So Grasim holds close to around 60% stake in Ultratech Cement, and bulk of its of its value comes in from the stake that they hold in Ultratech Cement. So keep an eye out on Ultratech Cement as well as on Grasim. Ultratech seeing some big selling, and Grasim as well now has moved to the low point of the day. Could explain why that stock is moving lower as well. Keep an eye out on that one, Rima.
Okay, let's get in another query then. Mrs. Venkatesh C has written to us from New Delhi. She holds 159 shares of HUL. She's bought it at a price of 1740. She's a long-term investor and wants to know whether she should hold on to it or sell it. So pretty much bought it where the stock is currently quoting 740, long-term investor. Mayuresh, should she stay invested? What could be the potential target that she will see or the kind of return she'll make on HUL?
So, Rima, again, I think the only factor that works against HUL is the valuations at this point of time. But going by the numbers that they had posted, a very good set of numbers in my opinion. I think home care, personal care, foods and refreshments had a very good top-line growth. What you've also seen in terms of margins, and because of the cost optimization that they've probably done, the margin expansion was also quite reasonable. And again, I think the commodity prices, if they move lower, I think that benefits HUL in terms of the operating leverage. In terms of the individual business divisions and what they've probably done with the GSK portfolio going forward, specifically the foods in detail part, I think that's going to be very, very interesting going forward. So valuations higher side, but again, if she's got a longer term view, I think she can hold on to this.
My God, look at Zee. I think we should just get back to Zee. Just take a look at that stock. The intraday chart should come up for you. I'm sure my producer has got some graphics as well ready. The point that we were making in terms of pledge, 18.5% stock. We're talking about a nifty stock going down 18.5%, and that selling has really, got exaggerated just in the last few minutes. Just take a look at the intraday chart. Actually, Nifty as well has moved into the red. We were trading with a gain of 50-60 points in the morning, but there's big selling on this stock. Zee Entertainment, you have Dish TV as well that's under some pressure, and and even SL Propack, all those three stocks are down now, nearly around 10%. Or it's not looking good at all. The mid-cap index as well is down close to around, around a percent now, 1% as we speak. So let's just pull up some of those graphics. I think, I don't know whether we have them ready in terms of the pledge that the promoter has. Okay, so the promoter holds nearly around 42% stake approximately in Zee Entertainment. So that's fine. But out of that, nearly around 58% is pledged. 59%, I think, that number as well should come up for you. So a high pledge in the promoter's book. The stock has fallen a whole deal today itself. So we'll keep an eye out on that data point as well. But not looking good, Rima, at all. Big selling on that particular counter.
Yes, SL Propack too, as you pointed out, is now down 18.5%. I think even Zee Media. That's also a stock that we should focus on because Zee Media was high early in the morning on account of the fact that its profits actually doubled. So the Q3 numbers were good. So that was at least holding up the stock. Now Zee Media too is seeing some incessant selling pressure. So that's down close to about 5%. So any connection with Zee, any group companies are being sold off very rapidly. Zee Entertainment down 16% now. Dish TV is seeing a cut of close to about 13%. SL Propack is down nearly about 16% and is falling on very large volumes compared to what we normally see. What are you? Okay, we have Anuj as well now joining in. Anuj, what have you made of this kind of a fall?
First of all, I've been making this point for many days now on Zee Entertainment. Latest being yesterday when this report was there about many players joining the fray for Zee Entertainment stake sale. My basic take on Zee Entertainment has been very clear for last many days now, and some of the graphics should come up. First of all, it didn't react to positive earnings. That was red flag number one, that perhaps something was wrong here. And if you then go back and see what the stock had done, last year it had a one-way fall from 600 all the way down to 430. And after that, you had promoter coming and saying that my stake is up for sale. When was the last time you heard, a promoter coming out and saying that, my stake is up for sale? That, I think, put a temporary floor, but the red flag was there. Now, if you see the promoter shareholding, I think the total promoter shareholding is about 41.6%. Nearly 60% of that is pledged. So, you just put sometimes, one and one together. The reasons come later, but the fact is that the market was worried about what was happening. And the biggest red flag came when, the stock didn't react positively to earnings. My personal sense is that from last month, there are a lot of people who are stuck in Zee Entertainment. And, you've seen those positions unwind. The bigger concern here is 400 was the level that we were watching out for. 400 was important because what we gathered from market was that was the level below which the pledged shares would come into the market. So now it will be interesting to see if that is what has happened today. These kind of falls normally happen when pledged shares are actually broken in the market. That's something that we need to find out. That is the entire crux. Yes, there is that wire report, and there are a couple of issues here and there. But the crux of the issue is about the point that I made, and that's the whole. That's the reason that even yesterday I was making this point, and that this story is it's going to take some time before something like promoter stake sale is going to take place, and the price behavior of Zee Entertainment over the last many weeks was clearly indicating that something was wrong. Today's fall, I think, let's just go and find out if there's an issue of any of the pledged shares being sold into the market. That would be the crux of the situation.
Okay, all right, Anuj, thanks so much for that. So that's going to be the key important factor out there. As Anuj said, huge part of the holding, 42% they have in the company, and 60% of that nearly is pledged. So we'll try to get in the management. We are trying them every minute. Hopefully, they come on the channel and they clarify at least in terms of those pledged stocks. But the way the stock has fallen, particularly in the last 10 to around 12 minutes, that is really worrying. It fell to around that 400. It broke that very easily. And now it's down nearly 20% as we speak. Just take a look at the stock, the way it's selling off. Well, this is not looking good at all, Rima. And the other couple of stocks as well that we're talking about, Dish TV as well is lower. That's broken the 30-odd mark. SL Propack is down close to around 15%. Not looking good at all. By the way, at 20%, there'll be a temporary freeze on the exchange. And then, in fact, for a few seconds, you'll just see the stock getting stuck at around 20%. And then it'll resume its course as well. We're talking about Zee Entertainment now. So keep an eye out on that one. 20%. Oh, that's broken as well. That's got flexed. So now it's really in a bit of a free fall. It can move very rapidly to the next 5% band.
23% now in futures, Nigel.
And even now in stock as well, it's down 23%.
Yeah, so in index stocks.
25.
So let's see. I mean, it's it's not looking very good out there. But just to put this on board, this is the normal influence of just looking at the data.
Yeah.
This is not to suggest that anything like that has happened.
Yeah.
But just the point that the share price behavior over the last few days was giving an indication that something was wrong. And the market clearly not giving thumbs up earlier to the good results, and then of course that stake sale buzz, all of that, of course, it looks like this some kind of aggressive selling. I think volumes would be interesting to pull out.
It's about
as well.
3.5 times its 10-day average, so it's fallen on very, very large volumes.
Yeah, so I think the cash market volume is somewhere around 2.9 crore, 3 crore shares now on Zee. That's 1,000 crores of volumes on Zee Entertainment. So let us see. I mean, it puts some kind of temporary floor here, but it's just really been a one-way decline on the stock.
And it pretty much ties in with what you're saying, because the vertical slide in Zee Entertainment started about 15 minutes ago, and it was around that 410 rupees. After that, you've seen that waterfall slide in Zee Entertainment. Till morning, it was sliding only, but it was down 6%, 7%.
Yeah, I think Rima, just plot the 2-year chart. I think we will not be able to show the 2-year chart. But you see the 1-year chart of Zee Entertainment. It was very clear. There used to be a time when Zee, of course, was a 600 rupee stock. Never disappointed, of course, on earnings. When was the time that the promoter stake sale announcement had come, when it had fallen from 600 all the way down to 420? And why we were saying that is because 400 was considered as the important level to work out in terms of pledged shares, and that's when you had the promoter making this announcement that we will go out and sell our stake. The market bought that for a bit, and you saw the stock rally. But after that, you never heard anything on that. And once again, the stock slowly started to move down. And every time it was going towards 420, 430, there was an attempt to sort of hold on that price. But today, I think the moment 400 was broken, you saw that vertical slide on the stock. Because 400, we were told, was the benchmark to work with in terms of the pledge shareholding.
Mayurish, anything that you've picked up from your market sources, is this kind of a 25% cut fall warranted purely on account of the wire report? What has happened? Have we seen, do you really think that there is a possibility pledge shares have been sold in the market? Your reading of this kind of a precipitous fall in the stock?
I have no clue, Rima, as I said, so very difficult to comment on this.
Okay. But as Anuj was pointing out, you could see some red flags. There was not a positive reaction which took place in the stock despite good numbers. You have a positive call on the stock. What is it based on? And according to you, what are the risks for Zee Entertainment fundamentally?
So as I said, I think one really needs to watch out. I think what exactly is going to come out. So I think it's very difficult to preempt anything before that. So Rima, I think let's wait out for something authenticated stuff to come out on this.
Okay, all right. I think if we can pull up the block data, I think the large trades, there were quite a few large trades that took place. I think Abhishek is just saying that there are some rather large trades, and that's why, in fact, in the last few minutes, from around that 380 or to around 340, we saw a lot of selling. So a lot of big volumes is what we saw in terms of that. In terms of market capitalization, now it's down to around 33,000 crores, 32,000 crores approximately. And in fact, at the start of the trading session, it would be 42,000 crores. So 10,000 crores is the total market cap that's lost. We must get the management. The management must come on. Hopefully, in closing bell, we'll get them. In fact, they can clarify exactly in terms of these numbers. 2 clarification points we want on these reports. And the second factor, have any pledged shares gone in there and got sold in the market? In the large, a proportion of the promoter holding that was pledged as well. As Anuj was mentioning, in the future space, well, the fall is a little more. It's, so that's telling you the kind of fall. It's down more than 2%. I think it's around 23% fall. So the big activity happening even in the futures space. We'll try to get Mangalam in. He'll at least try to explain to us what did the report suggest. And then, in fact, we have written to the management. We're waiting for clarity on that front as well. The other two stocks, as we've been pointing out, Dish TV as well is low 16.5%. Essel Propack as well is selling off. So keep an eye out on all these 3 stocks. They're moving in tandem. But not just that, just, this stock definitely it's falling, but the market on the whole. We've broken the 10,800 mark very, very rapidly. We're trading below the 200 DMA. That was at around 10,830 odd. And now we're in a free fall. Now, in fact, we are bracing ourselves. We're hovering around the 100 DMA. That comes in at 10,795. So keep an eye out on that mark. That's exactly where we are. And in the last few minutes, there's been some aggravated selling as well that we're looking at. India Bulls Housing Finance, Sun Pharma as well has sold off. So Zee Entertainment, yes, that's the biggest loser, but other big stocks as well are falling in the last few minutes, Anuj.
Yeah, and I think on the market fall, once again, the fact that the rally really has been very narrow for the last many days now. That's the point we've been making. The mid-cap index consistently underperforming, 1:2 on advanced decline. So, but just the only point here is let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. This is a market which broadly has respected 10,750 to 11,000 band. In the morning, we were once again counting down to perhaps could this be 11,000 after the gap up. The point is the closer you're buying to 10,750, Nigel, and closer you're selling to 11,000, you're making money in this market. And for all you know, it may also turn out this time as well that, this was perhaps a decline which will get bought once again closer to 10,750. Unless that is broken, I think, perhaps taking aggressive call on the index might be a bit too early. But yes, there's absolutely no doubt about it that the broader market has started to see quite a bit of slip.
In fact, Prakash, comment on the market move and the kind of fall that we are seeing. So now the Nifty is moving towards the lower end of the trading range that it's respected so far. So at these levels, is there a trade that you would recommend at the index level, considering the kind of fall that we're seeing in the broader markets?
Today being a Friday, I think it can see a slide or maybe close near the lows. But if it opens the gap down on Monday, then perhaps they'll be buying opportunity closer to 10,700. That's the traditional support that we have seen. The market is going up, it's getting exhausted in the upper. It's not getting a breather to think. So perhaps it's going out down here. Exactly similar is the case with Bank Nifty, has some support closer to 27,000, but I think you should respect that because we have budget ahead.
So no trade today? Trade on Monday when it opens closer, if it opens closer to 10,700. Okay.
For the time being, we went to that level, that 100 DMA of 10,795. We went to around 10,790, and from there we saw a bit of a bounce. So let's see whether or not we can at least protect the 100 DMA on a closing basis. Just a quick point in terms of the underperformance you're seeing in the mid-cap space. Remember, there's a circular that came in at the end of December that if you're trading in the futures and options segment, you have to provide an additional margin money. Now that you have to provide by January 22nd. So at least till that date, you were seeing a lot of underperformance coming in from the small cap as well as the mid cap space. And now it seems that in fact, that as well could be one of the factors. This could be one of the factors that has led to an underperformance coming in from the mid cap and the small cap space. Let's get back to Zee though. That stock is under pressure. Mangalam joins in to tell us exactly what those unconfirmed reports are saying. And Mangalam as well has tried to reach out to the management.
Absolutely, Nigel. I've been writing to the management of Zee. In fact, we formally written to them as well for their response on the wire. So a couple of things that really stand out from the wire's reportage is the one, the SFIO, which is currently probing Nityank Infrapower, and this is for deposits of around 3,000 crores made just after demonetization. This is after November. This is in November and December 2016. The examination of publicly available documents by the wire indicates that Nityank and some shell firms, they carried out financial transactions that involved a few firms which were associated with the Essel group. It does not mention the name of those firms, not the listed companies or anything of that sort. It's just the firms which are associated with the Essel group, and this is between 2015 and 2017. Furthermore, Nityank also went on to play a crucial role in a deal between Videocon and Essel groups in November 2016. The last crucial deal that we remember would perhaps be that of Videocon D2H as well as Dish TV. So that is something that we'll have to keep an eye out on. However, Essel maintains that Nityank is an independent firm, while Videocon alleges otherwise. More importantly, the SFIO's investigation so far has not concluded any interim action that has been taken in the year since that it has elapsed. So that is something we have to keep in mind as well. So this is something to do with a 2016 case. However, the bigger fear is, like you guys have been pointing out as well, it's a lot of promoter stake which has been pledged. In fact, if that table comes up for you, you'll know not just Zee, even Zee Media, Dish TV, as well as Zee Learn and City Cable, all of them have promoter stakes pledged to the tune of 59% for Zee, 95% for Zee Learn, even 82% for City Cable. So if you take a look at the current fall that is taking place, the wire report perhaps triggered it, and the high pledge may have exacerbated it.
Okay, Mangalam, thank you very much for that. With that, it's curtains down on your stock. We couldn't address more than Zee Entertainment, but it's going to be an interesting last hour of trade. We've seen a big fall in the markets. The Nifty's at that 10,800 mark, very close to its 100-day moving average. Zee Entertainment is still down 20%. So closing bell will take the market action forward. And remember, keep sending us your stock queries. Email it to us and we'll address them on our show.